Sorry.
Michelle appears to be muted and she appears to be frozen.
Okay. Then I will do it. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me open this up. Amazing. Okay, come on, computer. I'm sorry, we're having some real technical difficulties on this end, and I don't know why.
Apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
Do you need me to do attendance?
Yeah, can you please? I
Yes.
have to find correspondence.
When I call your name, please say present. Dove Jacob or Ari Weiss. Grace Cacciola.
Present.
Mitchell Powell. Or William Goffin.
It's Mitch Powell, I'm present.
Danielle Mizels or Jory Gutzman.
Present.
Robert Bristol or Mordecai Goldfeder.
Rob Bristol, present.
Jonathan Matamoros or John Johnstone.
Present.
Gerald Gelbard or David Mikitansky.
Both present.
Travis Kessel or James Downey.
Travis Kessel present. I believe James Downey is as well.
Scott Orlansky. Martina Barcarello. Vincent Baranco.
Vincent Baranco, present.
Nancy Benedetto.
Nancy Benedetto here.
Edith Langsom.
Present.
Brian Levinsky.
Present.
There's a quorum.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Michelle. All right. Welcome. I hereby call the Ambulance Committee meeting to order at 17:09 hours, March 22nd. I'd like to entertain a review and acceptance of the February 2022 Ambulance Committee minutes.
Vincent Baranco makes this motion to accept.
Do we have a second?
I'll take that.
All right, motion on the floor. Do we have anyone opposed to the acceptance of last month's meeting minutes for ambulance? Do we have any abstentions for meeting minute acceptance for February 2022? Hearing none, I'll say that the meeting minutes for February 22 are accepted unanimously. We'll now move on to the correspondence report relative to Ambulance Committee. Marie?
Yeah, just give us 1 minute. Why don't you go on to your next agenda item, and by the time we'll have a correspondence report.
Sure, we'll deviate to give you the time to bring everything together. Do we have any new applications for transfer of operating authority?
No.
Do we have any applications for determination of public need?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to ambulance tag reports. Vinny for the security/decal report.
All right, so our tag met on March 7th at 4 p.m. We had all the major players present. So we're making some progress. Chief Cacciola, she was going to see what the fire marshals were using, and they never got back to her. John Johnstone, there was a new with the new mayor. There was a new police commissioner in the office, the commissioner's office. So he's going to try to get some information from the next meeting. Rob Bristol was going to try to get some back end information from OEM. in regards to their CVAC program. Jerry Gelbard was going to try to get some fees and some pricing. And I spoke to him briefly before the meeting today. And we're going to present that at the next tag update that we're going to have. And Marie was also going to see about the printer, that we were able to print our own stickers. We're planning on having the next tag meeting next Monday, the 28th. Originally, I told Michelle that it would be 4 p.m. I wanted to see if everybody was in agreement. We can make it 6 p.m. because I will be traveling at 4 p.m. if that's okay with everybody. So think about that for a moment. The other thing is, I really need somebody from the private sector to come onto this tag from Onion. Majority of these security stickers will be affixed to private ambulance agencies. So I don't know if Marie was able to get anybody from Onion from our last discussion. Or...
Can you give the date and time, the proposed new date and time?
Well, the date is not going to change. It was the 28th. It was the 28th of, which is next Monday of March. And instead of 4 p.m., I was looking for 6 p.m. because I'm going to be traveling at that time. So it's going to be real hard to post the meeting.
No problem.
Okay.
Marie, any word, anybody from Onion? I'm just curious. No? Okay. So I'll follow up with Marie if we get somebody from Onion on, because like I said, most of these stickers are going to be affixed to the private ambulance agencies, probably 90% of them. So they should have a say in the decisions. The other piece of this, send out to the tag committee, is the policy in regards to the security stickers. And I believe there's two policies. One would be probably the mutual aid mobilization plan. And then there's one on security stickers with the exempt vehicles. So those documents are 20 years old now. I believe we should really review them. You know, if we're going to be doing this whole security, we'll review them to see if they're still up to par some 20 years later. And that's the end of my report.
Thanks, Vinny. Any other tag reports? I know the mapping tag report mission is closed, so there won't be any need to do any further report out. Do we have any ambulance tag reports that are open that I've missed? Okay, hearing none. Any progress on your computer, Marie, for the correspondence? Okay, we will move on. Unfinished business.
Hold on one moment. Maria is sitting with me.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi. Okay,
Jerry,
so
I give
can you hear me?
kudos, Jerry, for almost being done. That was good.
I'm trying, Doc. I'm trying. All right, Marie, correspondence report relative to ambulance.
Yeah. Okay, we received, we get the ambulance certificates by email now. We got Rockaway Point Volunteers, Medicis. And then we received, there is some confusion going on. Do you want to sit here? No, it's okay. In Nassau County with regards to Richmond County Ambulance assuming a DBA for comprehensive ambulance service by county. It's an old certificate that has been kept active by one PCR a month for a bunch of years. And RCA, Richmond County Ambulance, has now been hired to be the managing agency for that certificate. So people are going to start seeing RCA ambulances in Nassau, Suffolk. So there was some confusion about that. People thought there was a CON. That no, there was no CON, there was no TOA. This is just a management agreement between services. We also received a certificate for Brooklyn College EMS. And Okay, and Scott is still working on the FEMA hazard mitigation, the FEMA grants with the different districts. He'll give you more updated information at the REMSCO meeting. And that's it.
Okay. Do you have anything on the outstanding expansion applications? Anyone can provide further info?
That Dana Jonas is retiring or has retired. And they're passing all this over to, I'm not sure who, if they're hiring someone new or, a current staff member. What he told me was that these applications are still awaiting the administrative law judge to, I guess, assign the cases. So there's no real timeline for when these will be reviewed. As soon as I hear, I'll let you know. There is going to be a REMSCO meeting in April, and I intend on asking that question at the REMSCO. And Dr. Langsam can certainly ask at Systems Committee if there's any news of how the state is handling all these appeals. It's not only New York City appeals, it's appeals from all over the state. And the state has put everything on the back burner.
I think they noted in a brief that they sent out that this is going to be quite some months away.
Yeah.
We should not hold our breath.
Okay,
Yeah, I wish I could tell you more, Jerry. It's a shame.
got it. Okay, any other unfinished business or items that need to be addressed under unfinished business?
Talked about the stickers. With regard to the security tag, I haven't gotten anyone from Onion yet. I had planned to speak to Scott or Morty Lax tonight to see if one of them would join our committee for the security stickers. Since Vinny's right, it's going to be the private ambulances that predominantly use them. And I have not yet looked into printing our own security stickers. I'm leaning towards this not being possible. The equipment that we have in the office right now is made for ID cards. I don't believe we're going to be able to make security stickers with that machine, and we'd have to look into how much it would cost. It would probably be easier just to decide what we want in a sticker and order them again the way we did in the past.
All right, I briefed Vinny on some options that I came up with, and we'll bring it up on the tag meeting on Monday.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Since we don't have any more unfinished business, I'll move on to new business.
I don't have any new business, but I'm going to be bringing it up at REMSCO also. But EMS week is coming up. We've sent out flyers asking people to make nominations for EMS awards. And we've gotten, as expected, absolutely nothing. And I'm asking you as leaders in your sectors, there must be people who have done extraordinary work or who just excelled over these past 2 years with COVID. Look at your people and see who, as to represent yourself and your agencies can be recommended, for one of these awards. We're New York City, we did a lot in 2 years. There has to be somebody. And we want to be able to give awards at our New York City EMS Recognition Day. So we're going to be sending out the emails every week and just annoy everybody. So to avoid that, send me in some nominations.
Travis, go ahead.
Murray, just for some clarification, because I know in past years we would nominate at this period for the following year. These are for the upcoming May award ceremony to be submitted to the state for the following. So these nominations are for our ceremony this May for the state submission for the following year.
Yeah, we're going to give this award now at this meeting, at this award ceremony. The council will have to approve them at our April meeting. And those same nominations will then go to the State Department of Health. And I'm not sure when they give out these awards. I don't know if it's if it's this vital signs coming up in October, it might be. I'm not sure of their timetable anymore.
I just wanted to make sure that these were for the one for us. The
Yeah.
state is inconsequential for us this May.
Yeah, it's for us, and we are going to forward it to the state afterwards, but I'm interested in our region giving awards to our people.
Okay, thanks, Travis. Any other comment on the EMS Awards and Recognition evening? And Joe has graciously posted information about the Awards and Recognition site and link, as well as the scholarship for the Walter M. Pizzi for paramedic school. So please circulate, socialize, and take full advantage, because other people will.
And we're also going to have an EMT scholarship. So I will update the application for EMTs. You know, your volunteers, your people get vouchered, but you know, they may want to go someplace that doesn't take vouchers, so submit for an EMT scholarship. I believe we have it's $500. We have one.
Okay. Thanks, Marie. Any further information, any further new business that anyone needs to bring forward? Going once? Going twice? Third time, new business is closed. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn and break before council.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. See everyone at 6 o'clock. Bye.
All right, thank you. We'll try and fix my
Thank you.
computer. You send that to the printer, so I just carry it with me. I'm gonna try and beat up my computer.
Yeah, Marie, if we can just I know you, Michelle, if we can just try to reschedule that for 6 p.m. Like I said, I'm going to be in the middle of traveling and I'm not going to be able to host a meeting while on the phone, driving. So.
And that's Monday?
That's Monday on the 28th.
Monday the 28th. I know that Michelle did a great job at getting stuff out. So, you know, that very prompt on that. And thank you, Michelle. But, you know, if we can push it to 6, that's going to be a lot better for me. At least I'll be home at that time to be able to host it.
Well, yeah, okay. We'll see. You can leave
All right.
early.
And if we can find those digital copies of those policies, they were 20 years ago. You know which ones
Yeah,
I'm talking
I know
about.
exactly which ones. I thought I had sent them out. I'll get them to you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Marie. See you at 6.
Welcome.
Yes, Marie, I did. Maria, Michelle, you can stop sharing your screen and take a look around to see if we have a quorum before we do the attendance.
Dr. Langston, would you like me to take attendance?
I wanted, before we take the trouble, to look around to see if we have,
A
if we have,
quorum.
if it looks like we have a quorum, I don't know.
Okay.
Marie could usually do this by sight. But Marie is gone. Yeah, Michelle, you might as well do it unofficially.
Yes.
I apologize, Dr. Langston.
That's okay.
When I say your name, please say present. Dov Jacob or Ari Weiss? Grace Cacciola?
Present.
Stacy Scanlon or Bradley Kaufman? Samia McEachin or Allison Burke? William Goffin or Dominic Bettinelli?
Present, Goffin.
Danielle Mizels or Jory Gutzman?
Present.
Robert Bristol or Mordecai Goldfeder?
Present.
Jonathan Matamoros or John Johnstone?
Present.
Travis Kessel or James Downey?
Travis Kessel present, as well as James Downey.
Gerald Gilbard, David Mekitansky,
Both are present.
Joseph Schenker, David Benelli,
Present.
Scott Orlansky,
I'm also, David Benelli also present.
Scott Orlansky,
Scott's
Mordecai.
not gonna be able to make it.
Mordecai Lax,
I'm here, present.
Martina Beccarella, Nancy Benedetto,
Present.
Vincent Baranco,
Present.
Arthur Cooper, Robert Krupe,
Present.
Megan Kessel,
Here.
Manfred Fuchs,
Present.
Sean Graves,
All right, sounds good. Present.
Jerry Gumbo,
Present.
Eugenia Langston,
Present.
Brian Levinsky,
Present.
Dennis Laurie,
Present.
Mitchell Powell.
Present.
That's okay. Quorum. That's okay. We have a quorum. Can you turn on your camera? Yes.
Michelle, we have a quorum.
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Yadidia, this is Art Cooper. I just joined. My
Okay.
camera on my cell phone is not working for some reason. I just wanted to let you know.
No
But I'm here.
problem. Thank you.
I have Margie present.
Thank you, Michelle.
Hi, it's Samia McKeechin also just joined.
Mark, are you present now too?
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Like to call.
Oh, I apologize. That's okay.
Okay. How about everybody muting themselves who's not talking? I'd like to call the March 22nd, 2022 meeting of the New York City Regional EMS Council to order. We are operating under the executive order of the governor to allow us to meet remotely, provided that we are both recording and live streaming, which we are, as you can tell by your upper left-hand corner. We are recording and we are live on YouTube. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the February 15th meeting minutes, which were distributed prior to the meeting. Are there any comments, corrections?
Jim Downey, on page 4, under discussion, there's 2 paragraphs there. In the second paragraph, it should say core recertification CME rather than core research CME.
Okay, thank you very much. They'll take a note of it. Are there any other corrections? Hearing none, a motion to approve the minutes is in order. Somebody please unmute yourself.
Vincent Baranco, make a motion.
Thank you.
Sean Graves, second.
Thank you very much. Are there any opposition to the approval of the minutes? Are there any abstentions to the approval of the minutes? Hearing none, we will accept the minutes as being approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the staff report, emergency preparedness update. Scott Chan.
You don't want
Yes, sir.
correspondence report?
What?
You don't want the correspondence report?
Oh, we do want the correspondence report. I am getting old and dizzy and I can't read anymore. So let me do the correspondence report. Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's a long day. Membership, emails of committee members' contact information to update distribution list were received by the council. No new information from FIDNA EMS. New York State DOH sent us operating certificates for Rockaway Point Volunteer Ambulance and Rescue Corps. The New York State DOH sent us an ambulance service certificate for MedSys Ambulance Service, Inc. The New York State Department of Health amended the ambulance service certificate for comprehensive ambulance service by county, LLC doing business as emergency ambulance services, doing business as RCA ambulance service. I guess that was the amendment of all these doing business as. New York State Department of Health sent the council the Brooklyn College certificate, operating certificate. Thank you very much. There are no new enforcements from the New York State DOH, and there is a page in which you can see all EMS disciplinary actions, which will be in your minutes. It's on their website. From EMS agencies, we received a flyer from Glen Oaks regarding a call review session, which will occur on Thursday, March 31st, beginning at 7 p.m. Attendees must register, and I believe this was emailed out to everyone. An email was received from Michael Dixon at North Shore Rescue Squad seeking assistance in locating a new medical director. If anybody would like to act as a medical director or know someone who is interested, please contact either the council office or Michael Dixon. An email was received inquiring about the ambulance certificate number 11184 Comprehensive Ambulance Service of Bi-County LLC, which operates in Nassau, Suffolk, and Queens. I don't know what the inquiry was. Marie, perhaps you can help us out. And what was the response?
It's at ambulance committee, I mentioned this, that we received queries from Nassau because they suddenly started seeing Richmond County ambulances out in Long Island. And they thought that a CON or a TOA had taken place that they were not aware of. And that wasn't the case. It's because Richmond County Ambulance is now working as a management company for Comprehensive, which has operating authority in Queens and Long Island. And that's what.
Okay, so that's items C, D, and E, I imagine.
Yeah, you don't have to, they're all the same thing.
Okay. Moving right along, course sponsors, no new information. We received email from an updated FEMA hazard mitigation grants. There's still $313 million still available. And there was a webinar on March 9th. But if you want to apply, the link will be in your minutes. An email was received by New York State Volunteer Ambulance regarding District 4 PPE cash update. And in December, District 4 moved the REMSCO PPE from 2 locations and consolidated within the District 18 cash. This is the extra PPE New York City REMSCO had during the pod distribution. Okay, and so, by the way, thank you very much for housing all this stuff for us. We received an email newsletter that they have COVID-19 home test kits and nasal Narcan for volunteer. Narcan is being provided by New York City REMSCO. Email requests of supplies should be directed to District 4 Director, dist4director.nysvara.org. Include your name and phone number of squad if you wish any of this equipment. An email was received with EMS news and information for New York City agency leadership and providers. An email was received by Jack Finkelstein and linked to to Jem's article, Group Issue Joint Statement on EMS Lights and Siren Responses. I imagine someone on the ambulance committee might want to take a look at this and see if there's anything that needs further response. An email from Stephen Kroll, New York State NAEMT Advocacy Coordinator, with a link attached to ask your U.S. House Representative to join the Congressional EMS Caucus. Another email from Stephen Kroll, New York State NAEMT Advocacy Coordinator, with a link attached to join the EMS professionals from across the country on the 2022 Virtual EMS Day on the Hill, and will be held on April 4th to 8th, with visits on April 6th. Again, all this will appear in your minutes. The office sent out agendas, minutes, and associated attachments for this meeting. The application submitted by REMSCO for New York City discretionary budget funding for citywide EMS mental health initiative, and REMSCO Q3 vouchers were submitted to New York State DOH, and hopefully shortly will be paid. And finally, and we will discuss this further on, a letter was written to the governor, to Assemblyman Richard Gottfried, District 75, Jonathan Riviera, Assemblyman District 149, urging them to support taking Article 30 out of the state budget. While some proposed changes are positive, legislation should not be forced through via the governor's budget, which circumvents all stakeholder input. While we're on this topic, Marie, can you display that letter that we sent? Share the screen so that everyone can see the letter that was sent.
Can you find the governor's letter? Okay, that's it.
Okay, it works again.
If we crash, it's your fault.
I think you did. It's important to point out that in the language, there are some good changes and good definitions for EMS. The issue is that putting it through the budget process takes it out of a debate forum and doesn't allow for discussion about the nature of these changes.
Exactly.
That is the frustration that a lot of people have.
Exactly. Could you please scroll slowly up on what you're displaying so people can quickly read it?
Is that too small?
Not for me, it's not.
Okay.
I thought you were dizzy.
I am. I'm talking through, half asleep. Uh-huh. I'll give everyone 2 or 3 minutes to read this. I won't read this out loud to you. You'll notice that both I and Dr. Schenker signed this letter on behalf of the council and the REMAC. Are there any questions from anyone about this letter and what's going on with Article 30? Or any comments?
This is a really important topic, guys. And at the last meeting, we did have an Article 30 tag that was meeting to discuss how to approach this. There was not a lot of representation from the operational sector. There were physician representation, but I ask all of you that we will be setting the next Article 30 tag. The meeting today was canceled and will be rescheduled. We need operational involvement. This is not just a medical issue, but essentially a lot of this language takes control away from our region and gives it to the state. And that will be damaging to our current operation. So I ask the operations sector to please participate in these discussions, both with input about suggested changes, or if they have any input with any local politicians to be involved with that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes the correspondence report. Are there any questions or comments on the correspondence report?
Yes, Yadidi, I raised my hand. Was this letter, David Benelli, was this already sent, this letter?
Yes, it was.
Can maybe Michelle or Marie just share it with the group, please?
Yes, certainly. We can email it out to everyone.
Thank you so much.
Are there any other comments, questions? Okay. I can't see who's talking. Everyone's okay. We're done. That takes care of the correspondence report. Now let me move back to where I was before I rudely jumped ahead. Scott, emergency preparedness update.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Earlier last week, emergency preparedness staff participated in the North Health Coalition dialysis tabletop exercise. We provided some of our subject matter expertise in the area to the group. We are currently continuing working with DISHES and FEMA in seeking the reimbursement for last year's mobilization activation. Documents have been uploaded per DISHES and FEMA's instruction to their portal, and it will be reviewed by DISHES and FEMA before formally being submitted. We have a regular bi-weekly meeting now with these two governing entities, and we will be participating in the exercise of the upcoming HEC exercise for the region. End of report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for Scott? Hearing none, we'll move to the program agency update. Marie.
Hi, we have submitted all our vouchers up until the end of February. We'll be updating and sending to the end of March shortly. We've actually started getting some payment on our vouchers, which is a nice change. The program agency directors will be meeting on April 4th. That's a week before the state council meets to discuss program agency deliverables and and other issues that we need to discuss with the state with regards to continuation of program agency contracts. And that's all I have.
Are there any questions for Marie? Thank you very much. We move to the ambulance committee report. Jerry Gelbart. You got to unmute yourself.
Yes. The ambulance committee met just prior to the council meeting. Basically, the items of correspondence were all brought up prior in your report, Mr. Chairman, and there were no other items regarding CONs that are new for application, no expansions, and we had a brief report on the security stickers for emergency ambulances in the non-municipal sector, and more information should be forthcoming after next week's meeting, and that's about it.
Are there any questions for the ambulance committee? Hearing none, we will move to the training and education committee report.
Nidita, maybe we can do QA first, because part of my report has to do with QA's report.
Okay, QA, where are you? Who's doing the QA report? Aha, you see the problem?
Joe's here.
Joe, do you want to do the QA report? He's busy on the phone.
Sure, I'll do the QA report.
Okay, that Joe. Okay. Go ahead.
So the QA committee met on February 21st. We continue to review the progress with our stroke and STEMI QA project. Many of the interventions that we've looked at have started being implemented. That includes integrating some emphasis on BGL obtainment in the 2022 protocol update. We've been working closely with training and education to create a couple of additional modules to help reduce stroke on-scene time for stroke by increasing provider efficiencies. And we are looking closely at ways in which BLS providers can assist ALS providers on scene, and working with the protocol committee and the REMAC on ways in which BLS providers can assist paramedics, such as putting leads on ECGs and putting training out for that. In addition, we went to the REMAC and REMAC approved the dissemination of a REMAC advisory to again stress the need for glucose obtainment for stroke patients, why it's important and how to do it quickly. So that will be coming out shortly. Along with that, we had an update regarding the first watch QA dashboards. A lot of work's been done on that. So we did a presentation of that at REMAC. The next QA meeting is going to be on Monday, March 28th at 1 o'clock. And we will be beginning discussions on our next QA project, looking at advanced stairway placements.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for Joe? In that case, we can now go back to Maury. You want to present your report?
Sure, thank you. So training and ed met on March 8th. To complement QA's work, training is working on developing a couple of modules, as you heard from Joe. One is going to be a CME that's going to address all of the bullet items or punch list items that are high end involving the survey that was done that identified some of the current issues, including the time on scene and things that can be done to expedite that. There's currently a draft of it out. It's going to be done as a CME that's going to be recorded, will be done live, and that will then be put up on the LMS with a post test so that we can get that out to the region. Agencies can send out to their folks as well, and hopefully that will help address some of these items with stroke and STEMI. one of the areas that was brought up was ALS Assist for EMTs to be able to assist medics and developing a module for that. So during the QA meeting, there was some discussion about that and whether that's something that needs to be protocolized. So I did find a policy from Monroe Livingston that I shared at the REMAC meeting that I think can be used here and duplicated possibly as an advisory, so that this is allowed. The things that we're looking to assist in are within the scope. They're not actually ALS. They're things such as, like you heard from Joe, putting on leads. So without getting into the weeds, I'll move from that. There are some other areas of opportunity that we're looking at to develop training on from QA as well. Regarding the LMS, we're getting closer to a couple of LMS choices that can be presented to the board of directors so that we can move to a more robust system that is more up to date with today's times and better suit the needs, so that we can produce more training and help disseminate this type of information out in a much more efficient way. Approximately 1,500 more EMTs and medics completed the protocol update on the LMS since the last meeting. And we were asked to gauge the feelings of training and ed members, which I think probably would pertain to CNC members as well, on CME refresher for REMAC, which was a big topic of discussion at the last REMAC meeting. And I will leave that for Dr. Schenker's report. The next meeting is going to be the same day as the next REMAC meeting, which I don't recall the date off the top of my head, in April.
Are there any questions for Maury? Thank you very much, and thank your committee on our behalf. We now move to the REMAC report. Dr. Schenker.
All right, good evening. Okay, so the REMAC met on March 22nd, part of our discussion. So some of these reports were reported at REMAC from other tags that I'm just going to discuss. The Article 30 tag we already discussed. There was a medications formulary tag. New York State has an outdated document from 2016, which is a formulary document that includes all the medications that are in the New York State formulary, kind of like a PDR with a reference material, indications, contraindications, uses, and it's a good document to have in our region with for all the medications that we carry, that we use for our providers, to have that as a resource. We also are developing a document that would define what is required to be an ALS, BLS unit in this region, what medications you would have to have in order to be defined as ALS or BLS. So an ALS agency is great, but if you don't have, let's say, dextrose, could you be an ALS? Can you go out as an ALS ambulance? So that is being discussed. We are very close. It will be probably disseminated at the next REMAC meeting, which will be in May, actually. There was a large discussion about the current OLMC credentialing exam, whether or not physicians should take an exam, whether or not we began the conversation briefly as to whether or not paramedics should be taking an exam and how the exam should be and how it should be processed. So that is an ongoing discussion that will continue at the next REMAC meeting, but I just wanted to make you all aware. There are a few protocols that were approved. These will be sent to the state. We are trying desperately to get them to the April meeting. We are not sure if that will happen. They have been sent out for public review. There was a general pain management protocol for adult and pediatrics that was updated. There was a non-traumatic cardiac arrest protocol for pediatrics that was revised, as well as a shock protocol, which undifferentiated shock was changed to shock, and that revision was put forward as well. Interfacility and ECMO, David, you're here. Did the ECMO tag meet? You want to give a report about that meeting?
Sure. The ECMO tag meeting, let me turn on my video just 1 second. The ECMO tag meeting did not meet in March. We are in the process of we're in the process of adopting a protocol, an ECMO protocol that was already approved by New York State, and that is the Rochester protocol. And we have we're talking about a pilot in Manhattan with 5 participating hospitals. The ECMO tag will meet sometime in the next couple of weeks with the goal next to meet with the participating hospitals and initiate the pilot. We are having issues with project management, which we are trying to get funding for either through the AHA or other sources, and that's taking time.
Thank you. Any questions for David specifically about ECMO? For those of you who don't know, we are going to be piloting a pre-hospital ECMO project. We are limiting it to Manhattan just for the pilot, and then we will expand it as we see appropriate. If anybody has any questions. Okay, so let me continue. Maria already mentioned that the email about the awards was sent out. She mentioned it during ambulance committee. I don't know if she mentioned it during REMSCO yet, but there was an email sent out about awards for the EMS week meeting or celebration, I should say. Please look at your emails and nominate people. Nobody has been nominated yet. It would be appropriate to nominate some of the very hardworking providers, especially who had to go through hell and back. And I want to remind everybody that REMSCO the council is a 503c. So if you can donate, if you need to donate, if you want to donate, it is a donation, which is nice. Okay, and finally, we are going to clarify. I mean, I know that Joe mentioned talked about well, actually, Joe already talked about the blood glucose emergency, and it's no longer an if available option. So that was already discussed. The next meeting, like I said, will be in May. We have canceled the April REMAC meeting because it conflicts with the CMAC meeting. So the next meeting will be on May 3rd, which is kind of off cycle, but we saved that date for the purpose of the CMAC screwing up everything. Sorry. Any questions for me? All right. Thank you all.
Hearing no questions, thank you very much, Dr. Schenker, for an entertaining report as usual. Okay, we will now skip the QI committee report because we did that already. And Dr. Krupe, I know the State EMS Council has not met. Do you have anything you want to say about the State EMS Council?
Not really, other than I guess we'll see what comes out of our next meeting, which is only about 2 weeks from now.
Okay, thank you. I'm not aware of any unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business?
I don't know whether to include EMS week under unfinished or new business.
Wherever you'd like to include it, it's fine.
Okay, I'm just going to follow up with what Dr. Schenker said. Please send in nominations for awards for the EMT and the paramedic scholarships. This does not have to be, this could be for people who are currently in class. As long as they're in good standing, we can give them the scholarship. It's $3,000 for paramedic and $500 for EMT. So it will definitely help the students with their tuition. So if you have trouble with the applications, give me a call, but they're pretty self-explanatory. And that's it.
Okay, is there any other unfinished business? Does anybody have any new business? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you, Dr. Schenker. Always quick on that. Have a second.
I'll second that.
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, I guess, month until we see you again.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye. Okay.